very personal to me. Most people don't understand the difficult life that an immigrant has to live, to put food on the table, to not be able to take a day off of work, and not knowing if their job is going to be there for them tomorrow. It was a group of people that went on hunger strike for 23 days to highlight the fact that people, immigrants, had no help from the government when this pandemic started. But what we created was more than a historic fund. Right. We gave people hope. Right. Hope that they are seen. Hope that they are heard.
I am an excluded worker. My friends are excluded workers. My neighbors are excluded workers. We know the pandemic exacerbated a crisis and a problem that was already there. The exclusion of so many workers that are constantly out in the streets, keeping New York City and New York State running. When people lose jobs, generally, they are eligible to receive unemployment insurance, but there's a portion of workers who are not eligible. These are immigrant workers, gig workers, workers whose job won't qualify them, even though they still pay taxes. They are not included in the social safety net, and these are excluded workers.
The government finally started to let some workers go into work. They began this word essential, right? And for the first time, they were being called essential, even community members who were working in low-income jobs. And you have this saying, right? Essential when you needed us, and excluded when we needed you.
And while everyone was cheering people up from the windows or telling you, oh, stay home, stay home, stay home, we can't. So many people can't. And it's not people's fault to put their lives and their family's life at risk. It's a matter of life or death. It's a matter of my next bill, my next paycheck, my medical bill, my family. It's survival.
Over 100 organizations fighting for this. We all knew that it needed to happen because we were tired. We were tired of telling people, I'm sorry, we don't know what to do. So we started to make this whole coalition of organizations and organizers and workers, and we started to mobilize. We did actions where we shut down bridges.
We met with legislators. We did a 23-day hunger strike and won the first in the nation Excluded Workers Fund, which went to workers who were excluded from unemployment insurance, who would now receive direct cash relief.
Literally one day after another, we were in different cities throughout the whole state. And I think that's why when it passed, we celebrated with such, oh my gosh, it was a huge celebration. I think out of all the legislations that we passed, that one felt the best one out of all of them.
Closer to home, hundreds of city workers marched across the Brooklyn and Manhattan bridges this morning to call for additional funding for the Excluded Workers Fund. They're asking for an additional $3 billion for the program, which provides compensation to workers who missed out on federal pandemic aid. That includes undocumented workers and day laborers. The group also wants a permanent fund established for those not eligible for unemployment insurance.
The first instance of the Excluded Worker Fund wasn't enough. It left thousands of workers out. Unemployment is not a one-time thing, and there needs to be a permanent solution where permanently workers will feel supported by the state. We know excluded workers work in New York State, pay taxes in New York State. We know excluded workers contribute $1.4 billion to the current social safety net, yet they don't receive anything.
We know that the government has the power to pass this, and there's enough funding because there's a $16 billion projected revenue for the next 5 years. What does it mean? That there's plenty enough money to pass this and to have funds extra.
Hemos estado ahora sí que sin trabajo desde que empezó la pandemia y nos afectó demasiado por la falta de cómo salir a trabajar, ¿verdad? Pero en la lucha que estamos ahorita, estuvimos en la huelga de hambre, que fueron los 23 días, también luchando por lo mismo, para los trabajadores excluidos, para los trabajadores que día a día salimos a la calle a trabajar.
যখন কোভিড শুরু হয় আমি আমার চাকরি হারাই দেন অলমোস্ট 1 বছরের মতো আমার হাতে কোনো টাকা ছিল না, খাওয়ার জন্য খাদ্য ছিল না, যার কারণে আমি সিদ্ধান্তহীনতায় ভুগতেছিলাম। আমি এবং কি আমার কিছু ফ্রেন্ড সহ আমরা বাঁচার জন্য, খাওয়ার জন্য আমরা কানাডায় যাওয়ার চেষ্টা করি, যার কারণে আমি ডিটেন পর্যন্ত হই। এরপরে যখন এক্সক্লুডেড ওয়ার্কার বিলটা পাস হয়, আমি এক্সক্লুডেড ওয়ার্কার বিলটা পাই, দেন আমি সারভাইভ করার জন্য কিছু একটা পাই যে আমি আমার ব্র্যান্ড দিতে পারি, আমার খাওয়ার জন্য আমি টাকা খরচ করতে পারি। আমি জানি যে এটার কতটা কষ্ট, অ্যাকচুয়ালি এটা বলে বোঝানো যায় না। তো আমি মনে করি যারা এখনও পায় নাই তারা আনবিলিভেবল সাফার করতেছে।
Yo tengo 2 hijos, mi esposo perdió el trabajo, tuvieron que salir a hacer deliveries en esa ciudad sola y estoy segura que así como yo, muchos de mis compañeros están igual. Empezamos a dejar de pagar la renta, no alcanzaba y ahora ¿qué está pasando? ¿Qué hacemos? Y no tenemos que recurrir a nuestros representantes porque ustedes representan a la comunidad, a Nueva York y ustedes tienen que ayudarnos.
Yo antes vivía en la ciudad de Nueva York cuando empezó la pandemia y sí, como muchos dejamos de trabajar y se nos hacía difícil para poder pagar la renta. Las dificultades en este momento es por lo mismo de que yo perdí el pie el año pasado y lógico yo no podía poder reclamar algún estímulo económico. Y sí, se me ha sido algo difícil en lo económico, lógico. Somos una comunidad muy unida y que si se logró el año pasado, se puede lograr otra vez este año.
Este día significa mucho para nosotros porque caminamos desde Manhattan hasta Albany, la capital de Nueva York, con el propósito de llevar este mensaje a la gobernadora de que el pueblo despertó ya. El pueblo despertó y necesitamos un fondo para trabajadores excluidos ahora, no mañana, no pasado, no el otro año, lo necesitamos ahora, algo que sea permanente.
Many of our workers, they are in the middle of a storm, and we need to show up for them because we cannot continue to exclude so many essential workers because that's what you are, essential to the survival of our state. We thank you.
Look around you and you will probably see an excluded worker. Look at the people who serve you in a restaurant, look at the people who bring you your food, look at the people who take care of your kids or who build the building that we're just sitting in right now. Just think about that labor, and that will probably be excluded worker labor.
We don't need to be out in the streets. We shouldn't be out in the streets. We shouldn't be protesting, exposing ourselves and our families so you could hear us. You should be doing your job and you should be actually doing what's supposed to be right. That's why you were elected, to serve the people, not serve the rich. We were representing, we were there. I think it was powerful. We might have lost, like I say, a battle, but we didn't lose the whole fight. And I think what we gain from there is building power collectively with the workers.
Caminante, hijo de la libertad, canta conmigo a la paz. Quiero que les hagas comprender que existe un mundo mejor, que se logra